Hello and welcome back to Bookish Brits. My name is Michelle and today I'd like to talk to you about 5 of my favourite new to me authors in 2013. I really like supporting and discovering authors that are new to me, and every year I try to make it a personal challenge to read as many new to me authors as I can. So let's get on with the list. Here are my top 5. The first is Holly Snail, author of Geek Girl and Geek Girl Model Misfits. I'm going to link you down below to Daphne's video that she did for our anti-bullying week, in which she did a great review of both books. I heard about this book at the beginning of the year, and I just fell in love with this great cover and the premise of the book. Basically, Harriet Manners is a very geeky girl. She has no interest in fashion like her best friend, but she gets dragged along to the fashion show where Harriet is spotted by a modeling agency, and she soon becomes a model. I think Harriet Manners is definitely one of my all-time favorite characters in any book. I really love her voice, I love her friendships, I love her relationship with her dad and her stepmom. It's very funny and sweet and it's romantic. As much as I loved the first book, I couldn't believe it, but I loved the second book in the series even more, and I cannot wait for the third book in the series, which comes out in 2014. So hurrah for discovering Holly Smale. The second book I'd like to talk to you about today, and that is Laure, the author of Fearsome Dreamer. This book was published in October of this year from Hotkey Books, and I had read quite a few reviews of it before I read it, and everyone was saying it's a very hard book to describe. It's kind of fantasy, dystopian, alternate reality, and it's all of these things, and the strange combination of genres works incredibly well. I found myself quite surprised at how, despite what it says with the blurb, these two main characters do not meet until quite a ways into the book, and I really, really loved the world building and the character development that we see throughout the course of the book. I thought it was wonderful, and I really cannot wait to read more by Laure. I think she is incredible, and you really should pick up A Fearsome Dreamer if you haven't already. Now, the third book that I wanted to talk to you about today is not a debut like Holly Smale and Laure. This book is Waiting for Gonzo by Dave Cousins, and Dave Cousins is actually the author of another book called 15 Days Without a Head, and I have not read that book, but after reading Waiting for Gonzo and loving it to bits, I have downloaded 15 Days Without a Head onto my Kindle, and I hope to get to that very soon. This book was really funny. It was really good about a boy, Oz, and his family who move from London into the middle of nowhere, a very small village, and he's trying to fit in with his new school. His neighbor is not very nice to him, and his sister in particular is going through a very difficult time in her relationship with her boyfriend. But I think it's definitely Oz's amazing voice that I loved so much about this one. It was really good, it was entertaining and interesting, and I really recommend it. Now, the next two authors that I wanted to talk to you today about, I don't have a physical copy because they were both books that I read either on my Kindle or from the library. And the first one is Rainbow Rowell, which I'm sure you've all heard of. the author of Fangirl and Eleanor and Park. I really didn't think that it was possible for a book like Eleanor and Park to live up to all of the hype and praise and just amazing things that had been said about it before I read my copy, and I was absolutely blown away by how beautiful it is, how amazing the characters are, and how just incredibly sweet the relationship between Eleanor and Park are in this book. I haven't read Fangirl as yet, but because of peer pressure, I have downloaded that onto my Kindle, and it's a book that I'm really, really excited to read. I'm sure that I will not be able to hold out for very long, and will be reading that sooner rather than later. The last author that I wanted to talk to you about today is Paula Weston, the author of Shadows and Haze. She's an Australian author, and the books center around angels. And I heard about this last year when Shadows was first published. It was offered to me for review, and I decided to pass on the series entirely for many reasons. The first, I'm a little bit wary about starting new series, especially paranormal ones. And second, angels have never been a favorite supernatural creature for me. Something about them and I just we don't really get along very well. So I didn't think that Shadows would be a series that I would enjoy. And on an absolute whim at the library a couple of weeks ago, I saw it on the shelf. It has a very pretty and eye-catching cover, and I thought, why not? Why not? I'll just give it a go, see how it is. This is just before the release of the second book in the series, Haze, and it was so addictive. I stayed in bed the following day. I started it in the morning. I didn't move for anything until I'd finished it, and as soon as I had finished it, I pre-ordered an ebook copy of Haze, and now, because the next book is not released, I'm feeling very antsy and impatient for the next book in the series, Shimmer. At the start of the book, the main character has just written a short story based around a reoccurring dream that she has, and with the publication of that short story onto a website, everything changes. There's this great relationship between her and Raph, this angel, and it's really, really, really interesting, and I'm so glad that I gave that book a chance. And now, Paula Weston, you have converted me back to angels, and I couldn't be happier. So those are my top 5 new to me authors in 2013. Please do let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and if you have your own list of your favorite new to you authors that you've read this year. Please do let me know in comments. I really appreciate it, and thank you. I'll see you again another time.